Last time, the Cell games ended with Gine sacrificing herself and Cell being killed by a combined blast from Gohan, Goku, and Gine. Also, in the last part, I went over the future timeline, but now we skip 7 years into the future, so it is now age 774. Though, in the last 7 years, since Gine wasn't there to help them get closer, Raditz might have trained more with Vegeta instead. Also, he might have been a little angry with his mother for getting him revived then just to leave like she did. Anyway, we still open with Gohan stopping a robbery on the way to school. However, since Goku is still alive, Gohan probably wouldn't have slacked on training, so his power wouldn't have gotten weaker like it did in the manga. He also still meets Videl, and the rumor of a Golden Warrior starts. Anyway, after school he still goes to Bulma and gets a Great Saiyaman costume made. When Videl leaves in the middle of class to try and help with a robbery, Gohan still takes off as well and helps her once they pull out a gun. Regardless, he catches the one that tries to flee. Though, Videl still tricks Gohan into revealing his identity, and she blackmails him to enter the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, where she'll reveal his secret identity to everyone, along with getting him to agree to teach her to fly. Anyway, when Gohan tells everyone he's entering the next tournament, Vegeta, Raditz, and Goku say they'll enter as well. Even Gine talks to them from the other world and says she'll join, though she was wanting to come back for a day anyway, since she missed seeing her family, which he also tells Krillin and Android 18, then goes and tells Piccolo as well, which all three decide to join. Gohan then starts to train with Goten, which is when he finds out Goten can go Super Saiyan, but Videl arrives to learn how to fly, thus interrupting their training. He teaches her about Ki and how to float, while teaching Goten how to fly, along with giving her the advice of having short hair so it doesn't get in her eyes. Meanwhile, in Vegeta's training, along with Trunks', he finds out that his kid, along with Goku's and Raditz's kids, can all go Super Saiyan. Anyway, 10 days later, Videl was able to fly, allowing everyone else to train normally for the upcoming tournament. Regardless, everyone arrives and signs up, with them being happy to see Gine has returned. Raditz, however, might be a little hesitant because of his anger against Gine basically abandoning him, but he still feels some amount of happiness since she's back. They also still set the rule in place about not going Super Saiyan, so they don't cause people to be reminded about the Cell games. Once the preliminaries begin, they're way different than what we're used to, since it's just using the punch machine this time. Then the junior division starts, but since Kami and Chemi exist in this timeline, there are 37 fighters in this division. Regardless, once their matches start, they basically pass through them with flying colors. However, instead of the finals being between Trunks and Goten, the semifinals would have Goten and Trunks facing each other, with Kami and Chemi facing each other in the other match. The fight between Goten and Trunks goes the exact same, with them both going against the rule about not using Super Saiyan, though Trunks still wins the match. As for the fight between Kami and Chemi, they're about equal in power to each other, so it's basically just a coin toss as to who would win. So, I flipped the coin, and it came up with Kami being the winner, which, after she wins her fight, she goes on to face Trunks in the finals. However, she has a more cautious nature like what Raditz had, so in this fight she would be much more level-headed than Trunks, so she'd probably use his arrogance and anger against him, securing the win, which Vegeta would have been proud Trunks beat Goten, but disgusted when his son lost to a girl, along with the girl being Raditz's kid, which, in a sparring match between Kami and Hercule, she easily knocks him out of the ring, but it is seen as Hercule letting her win. Though, since Trunks would be off licking his wounds, the Mighty Mask thing with him and Goten doesn't happen. Regardless, the heroes see two strangers, and one of them mentions having heard about Goku and Gine, and that he wanted to spar with one of them. For the actual matches, I wasn't sure which two fighters to get rid of, but I chose to get rid of Punta and Kila, so they are replaced by Gine and Raditz. So, after the lottery draws, the matches would be as follows. Match 1 is Krillin vs Gine, Match 2 is Shin vs Demon Jr., which is Piccolo trying to hide his name, Match 3 is Videl vs Spopovich, Match 4 is Kibito vs the Great Saiyaman, Match 5 is number 18 vs Hercule, Match 6 is Goku vs Vegeta, Match 7 is Mighty Mask vs Raditz, and Match 8 is Yamu vs Jewel. Gine would easily win in her match against Krillin, and Piccolo would still forfeit when he senses who Shin is. While the match between Videl and Spopovich starts, Piccolo would ask Shin who he was, then once he answers, he asks Piccolo to keep his identity secret. Videl would be seemingly winning her match, but as she gets tired out she starts to lose. As she gets battered around, Gohan starts to get angry, but Yamu still tells him to stop fooling around, so Spopovich throws her out of the ring. Meanwhile, Gine goes and gets some sensu beans from Korin, which Gohan uses to heal Videl when she gets back. In the fight with Kibito and Gohan, he tells Gohan to go Super Saiyan, which he wasn't going to at first, but Piccolo told him to, which Shin then tells the other heroes not to intervene, that this is part of their plan, which is when Piccolo reveals he is the Supreme Kai. Regardless, Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2, which is when Yamu and Spopovich intervene, stealing his energy. Shin, Piccolo, Vegeta, Goku, Raditz, and Gine take off after the Majin duo, while Kibito stays behind to heal Gohan. After he is healed, Kibito, Gohan, and Videl take off, while Shin explains to the heroes who Bibidi was, and that they are trying to stop Babidi from awakening Buu. Videl heads back to the tournament while Gohan and Kibito catch up, suppressing their energy as they reach Babidi's hideout. This is also when they realize that the Bora is under Babidi's control as well. Then after Yamu and Spopovich deliver the energy they collected, Babidi kills Spopovich and has Pui Pui kill Yamu when he tries to flee. Which, even as the heroes are hidden, the Bora and Babidi notice that they are there. So, Babidi tasks the Bora with killing the heroes except the Supreme Kai, while he had Pui Pui go back inside the base. Once the Bora flies at them, he quickly blasts and kills Kibito, along with using his spit to turn Krillin and Piccolo both into stone. So, Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, Gohan, and Gine all basically ignore the warnings of Shin as they follow the Bora into Babidi's base. Shin still enters the base as well, and Babidi sends Pui Pui after them at the same time. They still all played rock, paper, scissors to see who got to fight him, and Vegeta won. When they start the fight, he basically doesn't stand a chance against the Saiyan Prince, so Babidi made the room look like Pui Pui's home planet. Regardless, this did absolutely nothing, and Vegeta kills Pui Pui, which the room then turns back to normal. Next was Goku's turn, which is when Babidi sent Yakon out to face him. Babidi makes the ship look like the Dark Planet, but even though Goku can't see him, he was still able to tell where he was. He then illuminates the ship by turning Super Saiyan, which is when Yakon shows he can consume the light. So, to counter this, Goku goes Super Saiyan 2, which causes him to consume too much energy and explode. Gohan is the one to go next, but the Bora also offers to be the next one to fight. Back at the tournament, Hercule gets the idea to make the tournament a battle royale between him and the remaining 3 fighters, Android 18, Mighty Mask, and Jewel, which Android 18 would easily take out Jewel and Mighty Mask, since it's really him and not Goten and Trunks this time. Which, the fight between Android 18 and Hercule would go the same, with her blackmailing Hercule to give her 20 million Zenny or he'll lose. So, he agrees, and Android 18 pretends to be knocked out of the ring by him. Currently, Videl arrives and tells Goten, Trunks, Kenny, and Chemi about what is happening with where their parents are, which, they find this cool, and they want to see Buu, so they quickly take off towards where they can sense their ki. Back in the fight between Gohan and the Bora, he wouldn't be struggling this time, as he didn't get weaker than he was back in the Cell Saga. However, Vegeta and Raditz were getting impatient with this, as Vegeta just wanted to fight Goku, and Raditz just wanted to fight in general. Regardless, Babidi transports them back to the ship. When the Bora gets back to Babidi, he mentions that there are 2 fighters with wicked souls that they can use. So, Babidi tries to place them under the control of his Majin magic, and for Vegeta it does succeed. Even though Goku was still around, I think Vegeta would still be angry since he was just wanting to fight Goku, and he was also wanting to get back to his evil ways. As for Raditz, it's hard to say if he would have an anger like Vegeta's, but he probably would have that Saiyan desire for how he used to be. Though, as mentioned earlier, someone he potentially would have been angry with would have been Gine, as she revived him to see him again, and basically just left a couple of years later. So, the whole point of this is that I believe Babidi would be able to put both Raditz and Vegeta under his control. Babidi then transports them back to the tournament arena, but when he tries to give Raditz and Vegeta orders, they basically ignore him as they just want to fight with Gine and Goku. Vegeta and Raditz end up killing part of the tournament audience to try and get Goku and Gine to fight them, while Bulma and Tights ask what's gotten into them. They just ignore this, however, and destroy more of the crowd, where Vegeta talks about not being able to stand Goku surpassing him and even saving his life, while Raditz talks about never being able to see Gine again after this, since she just planned to go back to Otherworld. Shin still tries to get in the way of Goku and Vegeta fighting, saying that he would have to go through him, so Goku gets ready to blast him. After Shin steps down, Babidi then transports them back to the area outside his ship, where Shin tries to break inside the ship. Though, when Babidi orders Vegeta and Raditz to kill Shin, they both resist these demands. Goku still gives Gohan a sensu bean as Babidi opens the ship, so Shin and Gohan go inside. Back outside of the ship, Goku, Gine, Raditz, and Vegeta all go Super Saiyan 2, as their fight basically starts with them going blow for blow with each other. Meanwhile, Babidi transports himself, the Bora, Gohan, Shin, and the sealed ball outside of the ship, so their fight doesn't damage the ship. However, as the fight between the 4 Saiyans continues, the sealed ball has finally obtained enough energy for Buu to be awoken, which, as the fight drags on, Goten, Trunks, Kenny, and Kenny would all sense this and wonder if that was their dads fighting. However, both Raditz and Vegeta end up revealing they wanted to both get stronger and feel like a ruthless Saiyan again, so they let Babidi control them. As the sealed ball starts to open, Shin tells Gohan they need to flee. He gets angry instead and tries to blast the Bora and Babidi, but they move so it hits the ball instead. It was futile though, as Majin Buu was still awoken. Back with Vegeta, Raditz, Goku, and Gine, the mother and son duo tried to stop the fight as they sensed Buu was released. However, Vegeta and Raditz are having none of this, so their fight continues. Back with Buu, Bora ends up calling the Gine a fat, stupid loser, so this angers him and he starts to attack the Bora. The Half Saiyan children are still on their way when they sense Buu's energy, which they still think it will be cool to see a genie and keep heading towards it. Meanwhile, Goku and Gine try to stop their fights again, so when they distract the two by asking for a sensu beam, Goku and Gine are knocked out. Gohan and Shin take off, but Majin Buu chases after them and starts to beat the two down. Buu seemingly kills Gohan, but the Supreme Kai helps save him. As Buu is going to kill the Supreme Kai, the Bora attacks Buu. This is also when the Half Saiyan children arrive, but they accidentally knock over the statue of Piccolo before going back to hide and watch the fight. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Raditz realize that Gohan's ki is gone and says it's their fault, while Buu turns the Bora into a cookie and eats him, which this causes Krillin and Piccolo to come back, much to the surprise of the young kids. Before Buu was able to kill Shin, Vegeta and Raditz destroy Babidi's ship, thus distracting the pink monster from Shin. From there, Babidi orders Buu to kill the two Saiyans, so they start to fight Buu and are seemingly winning. However, this doesn't last long, as Buu powers up in his fit of anger, which Buu starts to beat down on Vegeta then Raditz, so Trunks transforms to Super Saiyan along with Candy and Chemi, as Goten follows them. From there, Piccolo then appears behind Babidi and slices him in half, seemingly killing the Warlock. Back with Vegeta and Raditz, Vegeta still gives Trunks a hug before knocking him and Goten out, with Raditz essentially doing the same with Candy and Chemi. Vegeta and Raditz have Piccolo and Krillin get the Saiyan children out of there, but before they do, Raditz asks if he'd see Gine in the other world, so Piccolo tells him the truth that he wouldn't, and then they leave, which, as Vegeta starts to charge up for his final atonement, Raditz takes a page from how he died before, and holds on to Buu like how Goku held on to him. So, Vegeta obviously still uses his final atonement, which takes out himself and Raditz in the process. From there, Piccolo tells Krillin to take the children home and to let their families know what happened, as he must see the aftermath of Vegeta's and Raditz's sacrifices. He also says to tell them that Gohan died, as he heard the two mention Gohan died. When Piccolo arrives back at where they sacrifice themselves, he finds that Babidi is still alive, though before he can finish the Warlock off, he notices that parts of Buu are still there and are moving, so before Buu can completely reform, Piccolo quickly flies off. From there, Buu heals Babidi while Piccolo meets up with Krillin and makes a plan for them to go up to the lookout, as it is the only safe place, and that the Saiyan children are basically their only hope now. And as Babidi and Majin Buu take off, it's revealed that Shin is still alive, and he tries to see if Gohan is alive as well.